There was very little that shocked Anne-Marie Morone. She would have thought that her 10 years with the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police could offer more surprises than the subsequent 10 years in the sleepy town of Bainbridge, New Hampshire. But she'd been mistaken. In D.C., she'd never known her perps. Somehow, domestic abuse was more unnerving when it came at the hands of the legendary, beloved Bainbridge Elementary School principal. A mafia-run drug ring was less disturbing than a field of pot lovingly tended alongside the basil and marjoram at old Mrs. Inglenook's house. Finding a mortally wounded teenage girl, a bleeding boy, and a smoking gun might not have been a routine occurrence in Bainbridge, but that didn't mean Anne-Marie could not have seen it coming. "I'd like to speak to Chris now," she repeated. "You're wrong," Gus Hartes said, folding her arms over her chest. "Maybe your son can tell me that." She wouldn't offer the mother the truth, that although she didn't yet have grounds to arrest Christopher Hart as a suspect in a homicide, the case would be treated as one until proven otherwise. "I know my rights," Gus began, but Anne-Marie held up her hand. "So do I, Mrs. Hart. And if you'd like, I'd be happy to read them to you and your son. But he's not under suspicion now. He'd just be helping us put together an investigation. And since he's the only living eyewitness to what happened, I can't see why you'd object to my conversation with him unless," she said, "he's told you something you feel a need to hide." Gus Hart's cheeks burned. She stepped back and let the detective enter the hospital room.